Hi, welcome. I'm Tim the Potter from the Canton Clay Works. It's the last Saturday in March, and we brought you down here this morning to get a sneak preview of the work that we're about to unload this morning from our Noborigama. Our Noborigama is a Japanese-style double-chambered catenary arch kiln that is called a multi-chambered hill-climbing wood-fired kiln. Downhill below me is the main firebox. You see a small arch there where we stoke throughout the 24 to 30 hour firing. And then this is our first chamber where we fire in wood reduction. It's all fired by wood. We fire to cone 11, just under 2400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we use wood as the fuel source. Then the second chamber, which is uphill from here, is our oxidation chamber that we fire with salt and soda. And you'll see there's a lot of much brighter green colors due to the presence of oxygen, versus when we take away oxygen from those green colors, they get a lot darker, sometimes burgundy, sometimes browns, and derivatives of copper. So if you come down here, I'm going to show you just a few things in here. What was really unusual and spectacular about this firing was that we held at cone 10, 11 for almost 6 hours. So if you look at the Shino casseroles here, this is also a variety of Shino. We have really, really rich, beautiful colors from the holding at the high temperature. And if you look at some of these casseroles, there's lots of flecking on top of them, and that is a volume of wood ash coming up out of the firebox through the cross draft of the kiln and landing on the glazes. So I'm going to unload a few pieces for you and just bring them out into the light and show you some of the new collection of casseroles and work that we have. We have teapots, we have tea bowls. So notice the whole variety of colors, and there's quite a variation the whole way around, and that's because it's a cross draft kiln and the reduction atmosphere varies on the windward side and the leeward side. So now I'm going to go in the kiln and I'm going to pull a few more pieces out. Here is a very, very nice teapot with a classic two-tone Temoku glaze on top that I've added a copper glaze as a wash on top of the two-tone Temoku. The orange and reddish color on the faceted surface area is a material called a flashing slip, which is a high kaolin slip that has trace elements of iron that interact with the atmosphere of the volatilized minerals found in wood: calcium, potassium, sodium, manganese, that are airborne. And you can see there's a variation of color. This would have been facing into the firebox where it's richer and darker, which would have been the windward side, and the back side would have been the leeward side where it's lighter yellowish, more beige tones. So I'm going to go in and grab some more pots for you. Here is a gorgeous piece sitting on the very top shelf of the kiln that has a Nuka wood ash glaze. This is from the artist Phil Rogers, this recipe. And then this is a high Custer feldspar red glaze overlapped on top of the Nuka with flashing slip on a white stoneware clay body on the bottom. Notice how rich in variance the colors are on the flashing slip and how strong the reduction was to give us this beautiful streaky red on this bowl. And this was located on the very top of the kiln. So I'm going to pull from the very back of the arch a very colorful teapot, which was hit with a wonderful reduction atmosphere, traveling along the arch and down. Again, this is a faceted teapot, and you can see a variance of color in the flashing slip, and then beautiful green, reds, and blue glazes on the handle and on the top of the teapot. And then the last thing I wanted to show you in this chamber, which is quite unusual, these are planters that I've made for my annuals this summer, and they're sitting down in the bottom of the kiln. And if you notice on the floor, all this dark crusty material is wood ash, and this very mottled olive green rough texture on these planters is wood ash called fly ash, atmospheric ash flying through the kiln and landing on the pots. There's no glaze on these pots. This ash is fired at such a high temperature it's turned into a glaze. And so we have a very beautiful planter that I'm really, really excited about. So that's the wood chamber this morning at our Naboragama in the last weekend in March here at the Canton Clay Works. Thanks for joining us.